Hello friends, in this session I'm going to discuss with you that how you can ensure that you get a good rank in GATE. So since many of you have requested me to share some of the tricks which can actually help you to crack this GATE exam and which actually helped me to crack GATE several number of times. So this particular video is focused entirely upon that. So whenever you think of clearing any particular exam, there are basic 4 pillars which I talk about every time. So there are basic 4 pillars which you need to consider. The 4 pillars comprise of these which are shown in blue. So the 4 pillars are: first, you need to think that are you sincere enough with your efforts? So the questions that you can ask yourself regarding the same are: do you think you are giving your 100%? See, this is a very important question. Only you can make sure that you give your 100%. Only you know entirely about yourself, right? So you actually know how much you're giving, and do you actually deserve to be a good GATE ranker? So if you're actually giving your 100%, then it's really good enough and you don't need to worry about anything else. And next is, are you fair enough with yourself and people who have worked for you? See, over the time when we continue working for a particular motive or particular exam, we actually forget about why we are there. Right. So this is a very important question which helps us to refocus on our efforts being underdone in a particular direction, and this actually helps you to boost your effort. When you think that actually, are you doing fair enough with yourself? Are you giving your 100%? Is this the thing that you actually thought of? Are you giving your 100% basically? So this is the important question which actually lets you know how sincere you are in your efforts. The next important thing which will help you a lot is your time management. See, you need to make a well-planned schedule with a full revision plan of all the subjects. Since the time left is very short, so you actually need to know that what is your planned schedule, that by the end of the time you reach your GATE exam, you should be confident enough that you have practiced each and every exam. Since you know that GATE has no specific pattern, there are previous GATE exams in which there has been a considerable amount of questions from a particular subject itself. Since that actually happened with theory of computation once, maybe in around 2013. So you need to keep that in your mind, and that means you cannot think of leaving any of these subjects, right? So you need to make a well planned schedule, and then you have to make sure that you follow it and with full sincerity, right? So the third important thing which is actually lacking in many of the students at this point of time is self-motivation. No matter how many videos you see, until and unless you are motivated by yourself, they say that it comes from within. What comes from within? It is basically your self-motivation. You basically are your biggest motivation. So until and unless you are self-motivated, nobody can help you. So self-motivation, you can build that self-motivation by again asking 2 to 3 questions. What are those questions? The questions which personally help me are: why did you just think upon this, that why did you opt for GATE and not anything else? Which were the factors which made you opt for this particular exam? Why didn't you just go out for some IT company and just took a job over there? Why did you actually think of pursuing GATE and going to some higher studies or go opt for some good PSUs, etc.? So what will happen if you score a top rank? Imagine that situation, that you actually have scored a good rank. Then what is happening? What are the things that you planned after you achieve a good rank? Then now this will actually help you to motivate to work even harder for achieving this condition, that you are having a good rank. Then you're doing a couple of things which you'll be only able to do after you have a good rank. Then are you giving your 100% to achieve that position? Do you really think you're working that hard that you deserve it? Now, this is a very important question. Do you really think that you're working that hard that you deserve that position and not anybody else? So now you need to think upon this as well. Do you really think that you're giving that hard work that is better, or you can say that exceeds the hard work done by a lot many other students who have thought of scoring that particular rank? There are many students who do not have that much resources, who are not that much financially sound that they get a good coaching or they get access to online resources like you all. So do you really think that given all these privileges, you're actually using them with a good taking them as a good opportunity, and you're giving your 100% in it? So this particular point you do think upon, and then you refocus your efforts, and I'm sure that is going to help you a lot. Then also think upon what are the short-term and long-term goals. Actually, whenever you plan of going into a certain direction, let's say choosing to pursue this GATE exam, there are some long-term and short-term goals. Like with long-term goals are like where do you think being yourself after, let's say, 10 to 20 years? So that also motivates you a lot. Short-term could be what do you think you'll be doing after you clear this exam, after you get a good job in a certain PSU, etc. So next, finally, the last and the most important pillar, after you are actually motivated enough, you're giving your 100%, the last thing which matters is the technique. And where many of the people fail is this technique. They do not have this technique with them. That is the difference between a core hard worker and a smart hard worker, which I actually say. And the technique is this. Let's discuss this. So the last pillar is practice, hard work and technique. So hard work and technique both are required, and I should say in equal proportion, or the hard work should be in a more proportion in comparison to technique, because technique is that you need to do a particular question in this manner, but how much questions you practice with that technique actually makes a difference. So hard work weighs I would say weighs a lot more than the technique, but technique matters a lot. So first of all, you need to understand that you should have a thorough understanding of all the concepts. Then you should practice your subject wise and mock test series. Give a number of attempts to mock tests. This is essential to beat the exam pressure in your mind and to practice time division among questions. So many times students actually feel this exam pressure in the examination hall because they have not practiced those mock tests with the thought of actually pursuing a GATE exam, right? So whenever you're practicing some mock test, just imagine that you are actually giving an attempt of your GATE exam. So this will actually help you to beat that exam pressure, and then when you be performing your GATE attempt, it will be like a simple mock test which you have done a lot many times, right? So this will actually help you a lot. So the key technique that I've been discussing all throughout this video is this. You need to attempt the paper in rounds. There are basically 3 rounds which we were taught at our time, and this actually helps a lot. Whenever I go for any GATE attempt, I've also discussed this maybe before that. I have cleared the GATE exam 3 to 4 times. So actually 5 times. So whenever I go for attempting my GATE exam, I attempt the paper in 3 rounds, and this 3 rounds actually makes a lot more difference in attempting all the questions in an efficient manner. So what are the 3 rounds? In the first round, what you do is, it actually comprises of 30 to 45 minutes, not more than that. And in this, you attempt the easiest or very short questions. So you need to consider the easiest or the very short questions. The questions, these questions are the ones which when you read, So these questions are the ones which when you read, you get to know that yes, I can solve it within a minute or so. So just attempt those questions in this round, and also keep marking the questions which you think you'll be able to solve but require some more time. So this step is very important, and basically this first round, what it helps you to do is attempt a certain number of questions. Second is mark some questions which you'll be actually be able to do. So now at the end of first round, what is your mental stage? Just think upon this. You have attempted a certain number of questions, so the pressure is comparatively very low. You have attempted a certain number of questions, so something is done for sure. And these some number of questions are the ones which you are confident enough that will be, actually the correct ones. So there is a positive upside over there. And the other thing is, you actually know all the questions in the question paper now. You have gone through all of them once. That means the pressure is even lower. Now you know what are the questions in the paper, which are the ones which you'll also be able to attempt, right? So the second round now comprises of the questions which you have already marked in the first round and which are doable according to you, right? So the second round now comprises of attempt the questions left marked in round 1 and do not touch upon the questions which have not been marked. Please mark my words. Second round is actually the second most important round. You need to attempt those questions which you know. Don't go for the questions which you think maybe are of some more marks, or you think yes I can do them, but you actually thought that they'll require a lot of time, but you just get tempted upon to solve them. Do not go for those questions. Leave them for the third round. Just whenever you come across that question, just repeat in your mind, I'll come back to you, but let me just go complete my second round first. So this actually helps a lot, and I've tried it again and again, and it helps me at least a lot, many number of times. So just do not get tempted upon by choosing the questions which are not marked in round 1. Then after you complete second round, now you have actually completed all the potential questions which you thought you'll be able to do. Now the third round is actually your thinking round. You just need to give your 100% of thought to the questions which are left, which you actually are just thinking, which you actually inside you know that maybe I'll not be able to solve this question, but let's gain some more marks if I'm able to solve them. So this is another positive up over there, and inside you also have a feeling that I've actually attempted all the questions, more or less all the questions which I know in the GATE exam, and the exam has been completed before time by yourself. So now the third question is you're just trying to score some more marks on the basis of the questions which you think you'll be able to solve, and it actually, with that least amount of pressure on your mind, you actually happen to solve some questions which you thought were very complex. So some complex appearing questions, you tend to solve them in this third round. So this is very positive. After you actually solve 4 to 5 questions in this round, it is a very positive up for yourself. Then another thing which I want to state is, if you are not 100% sure about the answer of the questions which have negative marking in them, that is they are not of numerical type, it's better not to attempt them. It often leads to decreasing your score. I know this sounds a little less realistic, that I am saying do not attempt them. It may happen that you get some positive marks, right? But 90% of the cases you actually tend to get a negative marking out of there. So it's better to leave them and not to decrease our actual score. And so this is the final tip that I want to give to you. Just go for the questions which you are 100% sure of, and if they are the questions which are of numerical type questions generally do not have a negative marking. So, and then if you're thinking that the answer can be this, you can freely go for that answer. There is no harm in attempting those questions because there is no negative marking attached to it. But the ones which have negative marking, it's better that you attempt them only if you're 100% sure of that, right? So that's all for my tips, for my thought about clearing that GATE exam. I'm sure if you practice and if you think upon those 4 pillars, keep practicing by keeping those 4 pillars in your mind, you'll be able to get a good GATE score at the end of this GATE exam. And so all of you, all the very best for the exam. If you have any doubts, any questions which are making you throttle your working process, just feel free to drop them as comments in the comment section below. In case you like the video, please like this and keep subscribed for more good work coming up. Thank you.